on eschatology, the book of Revelation. Actually, in interpret Revelation of John is dispensation. You write down dispensationalist. The view is this chapter dispensationalism. Their view that chapters and 19 and 2, these chapters and chapters 4 and 18, Jewish writing, amillennialism. These people, they do not believe starting chapter 4 and now it's dispensationalist and historical chapter 4 through 22 time story. Remember that, last time 1, 2, 3 is a future. This is the third one. Things that had seen, things are, and things shall take place. This is the things will take place. Dispensationalist, historical these chapters 4 through 22 is end time story. Okay? But end time story relating to Gentiles and relating to Jews. These people. End time story right here. This is end time story. This is not. This is end time story relating to people, relating to Gentiles. The chapter 19, 20 is end time story relating to Gentiles, concerning Gentiles according to these people. Okay? And these 4 through 18 chapters, all these Jewish stories, okay, during the end time Jewish stories. These people believe that. And I will tell you more later about historical people. It's a little bit confusing, but it's okay. Now, here, Amil people say that, no, because Amil people do not believe in 1,000 years kingdom. They believe that end time, the 1,000 years starts when? Crucifixion. Okay? All the way to the end. Whole long period. They view that is not only limited to end time stories. That's entire church stories. Here, chapter 1, verses 1, this is the Amiel people. And chapter 2, chapter 3, 22. This is the 7 churches story. Okay? It's 7 churches. They believe, as I told you before, they believe this is what? Just the churches in whole world, okay, during the one particular time, as I explained you before. Okay, in the general churches around the world, in the world there are these 7 different kinds of churches. Same as what I said. But dispensational periodist people believe the church is what? How do they believe? They divided 7 time span. Ephesus church is a church of what? 30 to 90. Remember? And so all this. That's what their belief. But these people, Armenian people believe same as what we believe. 7 churches are the what? Huh? I told you before the lunchtime. What is it?
Symbol,
Shadow of all world churches. Anytime, in any place. In 7 different kind of churches existed. That's just that view, same view. Got it? Okay. Now, in chapter 4, verse 1 to chapter 5, 14. This is a scene on the heaven here. They said this is a story about the Father God. Nothing to do with any future stories. Kind of a in chapter 6 to 16:21 it has all kinds of stories there. First the seals, they break the first seal and second seal and so on, and then trumpets, all these stories, okay? They said, these people said this is nothing to do with end time. All these stories are kind of a Christian life, the shadows of the symbols of Christian lives. Some, they are in persecution, spiritual struggling, and so on. All this story, it's a story of the Christian lives. Nothing to do with future event interpretation. Chapters 7, 17, 18, 19, and 20. These 4 chapters are dealing with the judgment. Okay. Now, they said this. 10 is a judgment of the adulterous woman. It's kind of a Christians who's been adulterous. Okay. So that's the story on the Christians, general Christians, spiritual adultery. And God was teaching them how to judge those kind of people. That is nothing to do with the future event and so on. And chapter 18 is a judgment on money. So God will judge the capitalistic society. Sorry. Chapter 19. Chapter 19, who will be under the judgment? Judged. 3, 4. Chapter 20. And devil, in chapter 20, Michael will arrest devil. So they understand, that nothing to the devil and human. Remember white throne judgment? So that's a human judgment. So chapter 20 is nothing to do with the millennium period. Chapter 20 is a story on human judgment. They understand this way. And lastly, chapters 21 and 22. New heavens. This is our millennialism people's understanding Okay? The book of Revelation is nothing to do with the future. Here, introduction, and then chapter 2 and chapter 3 on 7 churches. Okay, that's the 7 churches story. Then chapter 4, chapter 5 is about the doctrine of Father and doctrine of Son. And remaining chapter 6, verse 1 all the way to chapter 16 about the type of Christian lives, Christian persecutions. They look at that. Totally different interpretation. And here, chapter 17, dealing with the judgment against those adulterous sins. Okay? And then chapter 18, judgment against the social system, Babylon system, corruptive society, corruption. And chapter 19, here chapter 19 about the Antichrist and false prophet judgment. And chapter 20, judgment on devil and human. Okay? And 21 and 22 in New Heaven and Jerusalem. So all this is a Christian general doctrines. It's a book of prophetic event. It is just a general Christian doctrines and Christian lives. Millennialist people's belief. I'm teaching you the structure here according to dispensationalist. Okay? According to Amiel. Then after this I will teach you according to historical dispensationalist. I will teach you. This is a kind of introductory. This is what they believe. I don't believe this way. Okay? So I'm going to teach you what the historical premill people believe. So we can compare. Okay? But you have to know what others believe, because there are many Christians who are in this camp, who are in that camp. Okay? Then some of them are the historical premill camp too, which I'm going to teach you. We are going to discuss history on the word, how structured according to historic. Our better understanding, we will chart okay? Yeah. Now you put down here, up here, so you put down here this is chapter 1. Chapter 1, I'm drawing a line here, chapter 1. It means here and here. What was the chapter 1? Whole chapter is talking about things you have seen, okay? You have chapter 2 and chapter 3 is things chapter 4. These are from chapter 4 all the way to chapter 20. To chapter the scene of throne. See, this is now in chapter 7, first Jews. And rapture take place. Chapter 9. Chapter 11, 13, 14, 16, 17. There are, write down, there are 22 chapters. The first part, already down again, and the second, and chapter 3. After that, time have passed to the beginning with chapter 4. So starting chapter 4 all the way to 22, Jesus showed all the end time, the scene of heaven. And John observing all the where John described the scene of throne. Now, and the scene showed John sealed by its scroll, 7 seals. That is the beginning of chapter 6 here. Then Jesus opened first seal all the way to 6th seal. Event which will take place. Signs. White horse, first seal. Terrorism. Wars and seal and famines and poverty. And fourth seal, horse. And terminus, we call that contagious. And what seal is it now? Fifth seal. Fifth seal, full number, and sixth seal is a gnat predicting to a rapture. All these are recorded in chapter 6. This chapter 6 stories, prediction, prophecy, was equal to Matthew 24. On the Mount Olive, same end time signs. Matthew 24 was given by Jesus 24 was given by Jesus in AD 30. But this one, Revelation 6, was given by Jesus how many years after? 65 years after, which is AD 95. From AD 30 to AD 95, which is how many years? 65 years later, Jesus gave John the same end time signs, which is right here in chapter 6. Are you with me? Huh? Are you following me? I'm giving you very overview of the book of Revelation here. Now, in the first 8 verses in chapter 7, okay, after the end of the chapter 6, now, Jesus showed John big, clear picture, vision. 144,000 Messianic Jews, 1 through 8. This is a clear indication of end time that Messianic Jews. Right after this vision, the rapture. Christians rapture, and not only rapture, and so parousia, right up to the throne, not the throne already, the throne of Jesus already down to our visible level, air. From the third heaven down to first heaven. Okay? So John visited there, and he saw the multitude tongue honoring